everybody, how you doing today? Mark here. I am going for a little bit of a vlog ride. I mean, my ride has a purpose. I'm actually going to Monroe. When I took Greg back to Arizona, I all of a sudden started getting these heavy cravings for some fresh cheese curds. We call it squeaky cheese. It only stays that way for a couple of days. After that, the squeak kind of goes away. This became really popular back in the 80s, and it's just something fun. Basically, there's so many whey proteins still left in the cheese, and it hasn't been properly, I don't know, absorbed or completely pushed out of the curd yet. So as you bite down on it, it rubs against the enamel on your teeth, and it makes a slight squeaky noise. So I'm going to go into Monroe and see if I can find a batch of fresh squeaky cheese. But there's also a side benefit in that I want to deep fry the cheese curd. And yeah, that's a staple here in Wisconsin. If you ever visit Wisconsin, you cannot leave without having deep fried cheese curds. And I tell you, not all cheese curds are the same, okay? When Greg and I did our trip back to Arizona, we stopped in a little place in, I want to say it was in Kansas. It might have been in Oklahoma, but I'm pretty sure it was in Kansas. And they were advertising that they had Wisconsin cheese curds, and that was not a Wisconsin cheese curd. So that's going to be one of my upcoming cooking videos, is me actually making cheese curds. I've never actually made cheese curds before. You know, I've always gotten them in restaurants and at the fairs and stuff like that. I've never actually made my own, so I'm actually going to try to make my own. And as far as I can tell, there's at least 2 ways to make a decent cheese curd. And yeah, I'm going to give it a shot in the next couple of cooking videos. I don't know exactly when I'll get to it, but I will. But the other part of the of this little vlog is that when Greg and I were coming back home from Arizona, we were only a mile from home, and I hit a deer. And I've actually got a couple of deer hitting stories that I wanted to share with you guys. And the first one was back when I was a little kid. I had an aunt and uncle that lived down in, I think they are actually in Roscoe. I always get Roscoe and Rockton all mixed up. This central northern Illinois area, you got Roscoe, Rockton, and Rockford, okay? Rockford is the big city, and then Roscoe, I think, is just north of that, and then Rockton is basically just south of South Beloit. And of course, you know, their territories span every which way. But anyway, we were going to go visit them. We had just gotten off of State Highway 251, which is US Highway 51. And we had to get off on this little service road, I guess is what you could call it. It ran right alongside 251 in order to get to my aunt's and uncle's road that they live on, and then we turned down that. But anyway, we got off at 251, we got onto the service road, and just down the road, not even a quarter mile, is a little creek. And as we came up on that creek, all of a sudden I was in the back seat and I saw a deer come running towards the car and stopped literally just that far from my passenger rear door. And I mean, this thing was so close that if I had my window down, I could have reached out and just slapped it. I mean, that's how close it was. And I was gosh, maybe 8 years old. So that was kind of weird. Now the really weird part is my parents never saw the deer. They were sitting in the front seat, they were driving, they were talking, they weren't really paying attention. So yeah, they never saw the deer as it came running up on the car and stopped just before it hit us. So that was one deer story I wanted to share. The next deer story was when I got older. I got my license and I was driving, and I had bought a 1986 Chevy Nova, little 4-cylinder car, stick shift model. So yes, I do know how to drive a stick. And I had gotten a job at the same factory where my dad works, which is called U.S. Gypsum, and they make rock wool ceiling tiles. You see them a lot in commercial buildings and stuff, not so much in residential. And anyway, I was driving to work. I worked the third shift, so I was going in at 11 o'clock at night. So I was leaving the house probably around 10 and driving to work. And I think this is the road I want. And I want to take a funner way to get there instead of just staying on these main state interstates or highways. Got some back roads here. Anyway, on my way to work on one particular day, I had a deer come out in front of my car, and of course I reacted to it. I hit my brakes and everything like that. Luckily, the deer jumped over the hood of my car, but when it landed, its butt hit my very front corner panel, right where the hood attaches, you know, and there's little like cushion right there, you know. Anyway, it hit that, and ever since then, when I went to go pop the hood, you know, to change oil or anything like that, I would have to actually lift up on the hood because it bent it askew just enough to where when I pulled my my latch release for the hood, it wouldn't pop open on its own. So I'd have to go over there and pull it up. Okay, that's fine, no big worries. I can work, you know, I can do that. But the funny thing was, I was just about to leave the factory and start my culinary career, and I think it was probably maybe like in the last 6 months of me working there. So it's been like 5 years that I've had to deal with this messed up hood alignment. And all of a sudden a deer came the other way. Again, it jumped over my hood, but just caught that front corner on the opposite side of the car. And lo and behold, it fixed the problem. So what are the odds of that? Oh God, that was just so funny. I was so relieved when I saw that. You know, I got out and I checked my car. There was no damage, there was no dent or anything like that. But the next time I went to go pop my hood on my car, it released and came up all by itself. So 5 years between a deer hitting me and messing up that alignment, it was 5 years later that a deer hit me again on the opposite side and fixed it. That's awesome. And then let's see, what else happened? And then talking about my dad, like I said, I was working at the same factory as him. Now, we didn't work in the same department, and he worked day shift and I worked a third shift. But I would see him when he would come in the morning, and sometimes, you know, we just kind of stand together and shoot the shit for maybe 5-10 minutes, you know, as he was coming out to start getting ready to do his work. Whoa. That was a muskrat. Anyway, one day he comes in and he's just like ghost white. He's holding a cup of coffee. He's kind of shaking a little bit. And I went up to him. It's like, Dad, are you all right? He goes, well, I brought the motorcycle, and he rode a big, huge Goldwing at the time. Some like 90s model. I think it was like 1200 or 1800 cc's or something like that. You know, a big touring Goldwing with all the fancy accessories, you know, the heated seats and the air conditioning and sunroof and all that stuff. Anyway, he's sitting there telling me how he's brought the motorcycle in, and as he came down, it's County Road X, and that was the same road I travel on when I was going to work too. And there's a vegetable processing place and a freezer warehouse just off the road, but opposite the road is a big wooded area. There's a house, sorry, not to do the guy on the lawnmower there. There's a house there, but it's set back into the woods a little bit, right? So as he came flying up onto the wooded area, all of a sudden this big, huge, I can't remember if it was a doe or a buck, but it was a full-size deer, came out of the woods, and he squarely hit that damn deer right in the side, not in the front of it, not the ass of it. It didn't try to jump over him, nothing like that. He says he hit that deer straight on. He felt both the shoulder and the ass hit his legs. So that deer went boom, and it slapped him in the thighs. He said he drove over the deer on that Goldwing and continued on into the little town of Darien, which was, geez, I want to say maybe not even 5 miles, probably about only like 2 miles, 2-3 miles from where he hit the deer. And at the main intersection, this town is a very small town, and at the main intersection of town was a gas station. And as he pulled up into that area, he saw a cop at the gas station. So he pulled in and told the cop that he just hit a deer back there and he might want to go check it out to get it off the road. And then my dad just continued on and kept going to work. As far as the bike was concerned, there was nothing mechanically wrong with the bike. It still worked just fine. But hitting the deer did about $1,500 in damage to just all the little plastic and covers and stuff like that, you know, vent covers and you know, the fairing and stuff like that. But mechanically the bike still ran solid. So yeah, I just wanted to share those couple of stories with you on deer encounters that we have had, or at least that I've had too, in my life. And I'm curious, guys, what are your deer stories? I'm sure that a lot of you that have been driving, especially in the rural areas, have encountered your fair share of deer. Even when I was camping up by what was that, the Prairie du Chien? No, what was it? Oh, it was a overnight motorcycle adventure, and I got rained out a lot, and I had a near miss with a deer there too. You know, basically I was kind of looking at my phone and trying to figure out where my campsite was, and I was pushing buttons on my phone, and I looked up, and all of a sudden, boom, there was a deer. I mean, it was still maybe a good 100 feet in front of me, but you know, it just kind of startled me. I was able to slow down and everything, and it cleared the road, no problems. But there were also like 2 other deer down into the ditch. And it's just one of those things, you know, they just kind of show up out of nowhere. You know, like where I'm at right now, I just went through the little town of Avalon. This is the same road where I did my dark side tire test, and we drove the curves and stuff through here to show you guys how a car tire works in these fairly sharp curves. And so yeah, you can see how tall the grass is around here, so the deer can just kind of like fly up out of nowhere. You know, they hear that rumble of your engine or something like that, or maybe another creature maybe is hunting it or spooked it, and it comes flying out, and next thing you know, it's right in front of you. You know, there's plenty of videos on YouTube showing deer jumping out in front of motorcycle riders. It's just unreal sometimes on how fast everything goes. So I'm curious, you know, do you guys have any deer near miss stories? Let me know. Put them down in the comments. Oh, God, I tell you, I haven't been able to get out on the bike much, and it's primarily because of that trip that I took with Greg. After I did that trip, I have been feeling so exhausted. I mean, it's been weeks that I've been home, and I have not been doing anything. And then, of course, I just finished off that 21.6 mile hike. So yeah, I just finished that 21.6 mile hike, and oh man, it took almost a full week for me to recover from that. My right foot had a huge blister. Well, so did my left. My left actually had 2, one on the ball of my foot and one on the heel of my foot. But the one on my right foot was only on the ball, and it was so bad I had to pop it. And my wife actually said, you know, you should probably try to cut off, because I have thick calluses on the bottom of my feet, and she said you should probably try to cut some of that off. And so I took my nurse's advice and I cut it off. It's been taking a while to heal. Whoop, loose gravel, but it's getting there. You know, I'm able to walk on it and everything now. It still feels a little odd because that callus, I wasn't able to get it all off, and that callus was so thick that now there's like this line that goes through my foot that when I step I can feel it. So yeah, it's just kind of weird and uncomfortable to walk on. Yeah, there's some nice horses. Alright, well, I don't know. Actually, this is the turn I want to take. Day. It's been so long since I've been out riding. You know, a lot of people think that just because my only job is doing YouTube videos that I must be out hiking and biking and cooking like all the time. I've got stuff to do around the house, man. I've got a lot of housework chores I've got to do. That was part of the agreement my wife had of me leaving my Uber Lyft job and staying home full time, is that now it's my responsibility to do the dishes, do the laundry, do general house pickup and clean this and that. And so yeah, I mean, it's not all sunshine and roses, you know. Plus, I'm not the best at editing, so I spend a lot of time on the couch with my laptop just putting videos together. I mean, even this video here, you would think that it wouldn't take that long, but it's going to take me almost an entire day to edit up a video for this ride. Okay. You know, and then even yesterday I lost a good portion of my day, several hours, just because my friend Dell, who drives semi, but he's got a dog that a cousin of his takes care of, and he made a vet appointment, and for some reason the cousin does not take the dog to the vet. So I ended up having to do it. I mean, I didn't have to. I'm a good friend and I do things for him. So yeah, I lost about 3 hours of my day just to drive a half hour to get Cody, to drive to the vet, which was another half hour, take Cody back after sitting in the vet for an hour, drive Cody back home to Dell's cousin, and then of course my half hour to get back to my place. So yeah, that's a lot of driving, a lot of time. And I can honestly say I'm not sure I know exactly where I'm at. Oh, Sugar River Raceway, there we go. Now I know where I'm at. I wanted to have some fun on some country roads and stay off the main state highways and county highways. But right up here is County Highway 11. Actually, what is it? I can't remember if 81 is a U.S. highway or state highway, but that is actually just around the corner up there by that red barn. So, yep, just that little bit of country riding just got me down the road a little bit. All right, well, I'm going to pretty much just do 11 all the way into Monroe now, guys. So I am actually going to sign off here. I'll turn you back on when we get to Monroe, all right? All right, see you guys later. All right, here we are at Alp and Deli. Kind of a Germanic front here to the store. Pretty cool. I'll just back my bike up in here. Alright guys, so I got my shopping done, and I was hoping that they were going to let me do some recording in the store, but they didn't want me to do that. So sadly I have no footage, no pictures or anything in the store. I think it's probably more to keep their costs or their pricing kind of private, you know. I don't think they want me taking pictures of their cheese in their refrigerators and showing the prices and everything, you know what I mean? But I did get my task accomplished. I have squeaky cheese. So the next thing to do is to go home and eat some. Okay guys, I am home and I'm going to cut open my little bag of cheese. Alright, I don't know if my microphone's going to pick this up or not, but we're going to try to find out. I got the mic turned up about as high as it will go. I don't know if it's picking it up or not. I don't know if my microphone is picking up the squeak with it down here, so I'm going to just pull it right next to my mouth. Okay, so here we go. Here's squeaky cheese. I hope you guys can hear that. It's so fresh and so good. And because the proteins in the whey are so loose in there, the cheese is just really like almost juicy in a way. It's really good. Okay, I also want to try the cheddar cheese real quick, just see if there's a difference between the brick and the cheddar as far as how loud the squeak is. So let's try this. Oh yeah, that's a loud squeak. It's a lot of fun. And it's just a sign of really fresh cheese. This stuff was probably either made today or yesterday, because if it sits much longer, the squeak goes away. That's awesome. That's really good. God, I love it. So, okay, well, this is Mark. Thanks for coming with me on the motorcycle run just to get Squeaky Cheese. It was a lot of fun. We saw a lot of cool things. And you got to hear some fun stories, too. So, this is Mark saying thanks again for watching. I'll see you on the road. Bye.